Jingle, all the way to therapy. A man's guide to managing the holidays.
Jingle all the way to therapy.
Yeah, the holidays are approaching. Josh and I were just talking about what a weird time it can be for most people and how nobody talks about that. And we're just like, we should have an honest conversation about what the holidays actually are, what they aren't, what they're an opportunity for, and how to manage them.
I think the holidays are an inevitable conversation for everyone, and somehow the deeper conversation barely happens. At least not in the groups I'm in.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm excited to get into that here today. So in this episode, we'll cover like what is the reality for the holidays for a lot of people. Because myself, for a long time, I thought, damn, I'm the only one that's not like enjoying this or having fun, you know. And I know a lot of people feel that way. So we'll talk about family dynamics, work dynamics, stress, what it's like for single people, and we'll take a look at some stats. Then we'll get into some pros and cons. Like there is a lot of good stuff that happens from the holidays. There's a lot of bullshit as well. And then most importantly, we'll get into how to manage the holidays, the pressure, the strange family communications, the fear of missing out, what your options are, and yeah, so that you can ensure you do enjoy and get the most out of this coming holiday season. Yeah, and to start, like Josh and I kind of have different experiences of the holidays growing up. So I think we bring both interesting perspectives on both sides of the spectrum. Josh, you want to start with your experience of what the holidays were like and how you feel about them now?
Yeah, I mean, I have pleasant memories of the holidays as a kid. I have no like major blow up memories, anything like that. My parents, it was like the one holiday that I felt spoiled. For me, Christmas was the time that I felt spoiled because we would have holiday at the house, and my parents always over delivered present wise. It was often one of the times that I would ask for a specific thing, and I would probably get it, like without any question or attachment. And then we'd also go to later on when my grandparents moved from the East Coast to the West Coast where we were, then we would go to their place, and then they would also give me some presents. And then for me, the other element was food. So holidays represented a time where you could just eat an unlimited amount of delicious food and candy, and no one says shit.
That's true. Yeah, true.
And you can, like, in the middle of the afternoon, watch a movie while drinking hot chocolate and having a turkey sandwich followed by cake, and people are like, yep, that's normal. Like, that, to me, that's the best day ever.
Totally. I wish I could do that every day.
Right. So
Yeah.
I always had really pleasant memories of it. I think in hindsight, the thing that I missed is what I'm experiencing now is like what my parents, it's not like they made so much hoopla, but they always sort of like delivered. So it's just like the stressors that would have been on them to deliver that year in and year out. Now I share those. And now in the family, there's kind of no one else leading that charge. Like even my mom's gone. My dad's like totally absent around holidays. In general, he is, like, not in a bad way. Just he's just doing his thing. So that he's like, got no attachment to like, it's the holidays, let's visit each other. Like, that's not even a conversation. So it was really my wife's parents, and they're just old now. They're old. It's like a stress for them. So they're not even like leading that charge. Whereas when my first son was first born, my first child, they did. They were still like, okay, like everyone's coming over on Christmas Day, and then we're gonna make this turkey, and they were driving that charge. Now they're like, are we having turkey this year? So like it's like this year I'm making turkey because Grandpa was like, oh, I'd really like a turkey, and I could see that this was a stressful thing, and I'm like, I got it. Like, I like cooking. I'll cook turkey, no problem.
Nice.
So
Good for you, dude.
that's been an interesting transition.
Yeah. With everything you have going on, playing dad and running businesses and, supporting your partner and stuff, it's a lot. It's a lot to ask on top of everything else you're doing.
Yeah. I think I guess the transition for me is like what the payout is also changes. Like,
Yeah.
I can't think of anything for Christmas anyone could give me that would make me that ecstatic. Like, the best gift I could think of is someone babysits the kids and my wife and I have daytime sex. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. The bar's low. So on the other hand, seeing them excited doing stuff and like making food and have everyone sit down and enjoy it together, like that part is the payoff now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That and a new fishing rod.
Maybe a new fishing rod as well. No, but honestly, Sean, honestly, not even. And here's why. It would require, let's say it's my wife buying me the fishing rod. She would have to understand the specific rod, why, how it fits in my quiver of rods. Like, I'd rather just buy the rod myself. Like,
I know, I
I'd
feel the
rather
same
the
way.
gift be a card that says you have permission to spend anything you want on one fishing rod. You know, not that I need permission, but I mean, like, in which case it's not even a gift. So I'd rather just get nothing, and like next month, if I need a rod, go buy a rod.
That's what I do too. I just want to go buy my thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, now it's more like, what can I give other people that really, like, what is a gift that they're going to remember? What's something that's higher impact? Because I remember certain gifts. Like, I can remember getting a 12-speed bike at Christmas because it was like a big deal to have a bike with gears. And my parents delivered on that. And I was fucking pumped. I went and rode it in the snow.
Broke your wrist, but it was the best Christmas ever.
Yeah, first time I broke my nose, but like, yeah. Right? Or like, I remember I got a new pair of hockey gloves. Like, there was like this new brand. They were really expensive. I understood somehow through osmosis that it was a stretch for my family to spend that much money on a piece of sporting gear.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I got this pair of gloves. You know, like,
Was it a
those
pair of
things stand out
Eagles?
to me.
Was it Eagles or what was
They
it?
were, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
I
when
remember
Eagles
that.
came out.
Yeah. I wanted the same thing. Yeah, I didn't get them, but I got some hockey sticks and stuff like that. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, even just cooking the turkey, man. It's so rewarding, you know, to see people. I find it hard to make time for that kind of thing because charging the ball downfield, work, finances, providing, but like when I do get a chance to do that, I can relate. That's really meaningful and deeply fulfilling.
I like that. Yeah, the charging the ball down the field is a good analogy. I feel like it's fulfilling, it's rewarding, but also for me personally, like, to get momentum towards it is hard. It's like, I have to actually be like, oh, do I really want to fucking make a turkey and like make sure I bought the turkey and then thaw out the turkey 48 hours in advance and then fucking, are we spatchcocking it or whatever? Like, who's this? How many? Like, all of that shit sounds stressful to me in the context of like the business, finishing school with the kids, travel, all the other shit that's going on right now. So I have to remind myself, yeah, but once I'm actually making it, I enjoy that process.
Yeah.
And once everyone's eating it, I'll be fucking pumped that we have this turkey, you know?
Yeah, you'll be stoked.
So,
yeah, totally.
yeah.
Yeah, well said. And you enjoy the holidays now? I mean, obviously you begrudge them, everybody begrudges them somewhat, but like, how do you feel about it now?
I'm kind of having neutrality with them now. I'm like trying to get excited about them again.
Yeah.
Something for me has been lost. In part, maybe it's because I don't work I'm not working for anyone else. So like the schedule itself doesn't dictate the normal exhale moment that it would represent. Like, if you're like working for a company, they're like, hey, cool, you get a week off. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm out of work,
Right.
so I'm in the holidays. For me, it's like, that doesn't happen. There's no like end moment sort of thing.
Yeah, totally. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I feel that too. It's like every year that goes by, I feel like there's less and less time for me to actually just hit the pause button and enjoy the holidays, you know?
Yeah, I have to really make that decision. And then also, there's that element of like, oh, it's adding all this shit to my plate. So there's part of me that's like, or we could just like delete the holidays and not do any of that. Like, just not add any of this to the plate. That would be cool.
I'd probably take that option.
Right.
Yeah, my experience with the holidays is a little different than yours. So, like, growing up, we never lacked for anything. You know, there were always presents under the tree, and it was always, you know, my parents made an effort to have this beautiful tree and to have the cute Christmas music on, cook a big, beautiful Christmas dinner, and they got us hockey sticks and bikes and stuff like that. I can remember that it always felt like there was a little bit of a begrudgment around them from my parents, like, okay, let's do this, but like, let's get it over with kind of thing. And we never got what we wanted. Very rarely. A lot of socks and pragmatic gifts like that, which is fine. And I understand where that comes from in my family. But it was always a time of conflict. It was always a time of difficult conversations and lots of tears and that kind of thing. And that actually continued into like my 20s. where I every year I'd forget what happened, and then I'd have some kind of crystallized like fantasy of nostalgic fantasy of what it could be like this year, and there would often be little moments of that, and then it would end up one of the family members would direct their emotions at myself or one of the other children, and then it would end up in tears and a big deal. And in my late teens and 20s, that meant like leaving or whatever. And that just happened year after year. And it wasn't until I actually started dating a woman who was from a Latin family. They were Spanish and Chilean and I think Portuguese as well, actually. And they just fucking celebrated. Like they had anybody over. There was no weirdness about who they could invite, who they couldn't invite. They had paella and wine and they sang and we all danced. And it was just like an actual celebration. I was like, wow, like this is kind of more of the spirit of, it seems like, what Christmas and the holidays were supposed to be about. So that was good. That was good contrast. And even today, it's like, unfortunately, I would classify myself as like a child of an emotionally immature adults. There's a great book on that actually that I'm reading right now called Adult Children of Immature Adults, I think. Fantastic. And so even to this day, like simple logistics around the holidays become big, emotionally difficult affairs. And now I manage them better so I don't get caught up in it, but it still happens. So for me, I always had really mixed feelings about the holiday. I always longed for that closeness that I saw on TV commercials and that I'd feel occasionally with my family or with partners. But then mostly it was just like a lot of rushing around, a lot of financial pressure, a lot of like feeling like I needed to be cheery like everybody else. And just a lot of sadness and loneliness and just feeling left out from the whole thing behind the scenes. Frustration that I didn't have that, movie like Family Christmas that you see on the TV or whatever. And today, now that I'm in a healthy relationship and now that, Katie and I are kind of gearing up towards having kids, I see how like it's a big deal for kids. It's a big deal for a lot of people. Similar to you, I'm kind of trying to reconnect with that. Katie and I just went on a trip and coming back through the airports and the cities and stuff, it felt kind of fake. All the Christmas songs and all the lights and everything, especially working in mental health now. And it's the busiest time in men's group by far, the holidays. It's the busiest time at the hospital and the mental health clinic that Katie works at. Just a lot of people. Like I'd say the majority of people, for them, it's a difficult time. And I don't mean that to convince people not to be a part of it. It just seemed, it's almost to let people off the hook if they are feeling that way. Because I felt shameful that I wasn't having a great time. But it turns out lots of people aren't. So yeah, where I sit with it now is it's a good time to recalibrate, to get ready for the new year, to set some goals, to like review your year. Good time to take a broad breath and a pause, which is something I don't do enough. And to, spend some time with family, as difficult as it is, learning how to manage it and like appreciating that we still have limited time here. And I'm going to try to at least enjoy as much as I can of the holidays with my family.
I like the conscious decision of like choosing enjoyment. One of the things that I think the holidays represent in my mind is this moment of cultural hyper awareness on an individual basis. So like it doesn't even matter if you're religious and from that point or like whatever, just call, and you're alluding to music everywhere and all the stores being decorated and people talking about it and TV shows and movies and right, like all of that, whether you realize it or not, force you into this like hyper awareness of yourself and your own situation, because it gives you something that you're anchored against, right? Like we're talking this whole conversation, we're talking about it like the very first question, well, how are the holidays for you? But the nature of that question is coming versus some fantasy of what the holidays are supposed to be. That's
true.
That's put in our heads,
Forced
so to when you're saying like, I'm just trying to make this decision to make it be like this, I think that's one of the keys. Is just it is a choose your own adventure. It's like you get to invent what the holidays are. And that, I think that's where they can be when you're having a tough time, like where the tough time comes from. What's the saying? We might talk about this in the last podcast. It's something to the effect of, the difference between your reality and your expectation is where your unhappiness resides.
Yeah, the gap versus the gain.
Right.
Kind of thing.
So like that's the holidays. If you're like, I think this is how it should be or would be or I'd like it to be, and then this is what happens, and then that tension, that's what causes all the pain. Where it's like, or change that image. Like change the image to be like, this is what it is. I'm great.
Yeah, then you can enjoy what is. And
Yeah.
I think my situation is a good example. Like I can now go to family Christmases and just, I don't have this fantasy that it's all going to go smoothly. It's all going to be warm and close, and they're going to ask me about myself, and they're going to celebrate my wins from this year. No, none of that. It's going to be weird and uncomfortable, and communication is going to be difficult, and certain family members are going to try to make that worse because stir the pot. But there's these moments in between there where I get these little interactions with each family member, and these people are the only people that have known me since I was a kid, and I still value that to some degree, still want to, maintain those connections. And so that's a win, but it's about changing that expectation. You're right. Yeah, totally. Yeah. So for the reality for a lot of people, it seems to be 4 things, like family dynamics, work dynamics, stress, and I put the finances under all that. And then, and then also just romantic single stuff. I think all this hype, all this cultural ideology that comes with the holidays seems to focus on those things. And I could talk to about family dynamics, and then I'd love to hear you talk about work dynamics and some stress. Does that sound good, Josh?
Yeah. It makes sense to me.
Start with family dynamics because I know it's difficult for a lot of people. Look, you can't choose your family. I know it's cliche, but the vast majority, as I get older, it's a cold hard truth, but it seems like it's true. The vast majority of the people in the world don't really work on themselves, don't really learn things like healthy communication or conflict resolution or emotional intelligence. And so they're difficult to deal with when they're emotional, and the holidays make people emotional. So I think it's just like a byproduct of just a lot of different pressure factors on people that they're just a little bit more, muted myself, a little more touchy, a little more emotional. And so, yeah, like a lot of people out there go home, and then some family member says something mean, like they always did, in a way that gets through the armor, because family often has a way of doing that, and picking at the insecurities or, whatever, saying the wrong thing in front of somebody. And then everything goes from 0 to 100 in red lines so quickly. I've been at family events where it's like that, and my family's like that. And so I think, yeah, just knowing that, we'll get into the how to manage the holidays, but I think that's a real thing for a lot of people. Is like a lot of people have really difficult relationships with their siblings, their parents, and it's a hard thing to navigate. Like, I feel like I've finally found some resources that have helped me come to terms with it, manage my expectations, manage those relationships, and things have gotten a lot better. But for a lot of people, it's drama fest. It's crazy. Some of the stories I hear in men's group and friends who are doing well otherwise and who are great at conflict resolution and communication, they go back home and it's just like they're wading through difficulties, Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Josh, before we move along?
Yeah, I think a couple of thoughts came up. I mean, I'm just echoing what you said and said before. Like the larger family environment is a high triggering environment. Because you don't, to your point, you don't choose that environment specifically. If you're choosing a friend group and one of the friends is like a triggering individual, like they just end up not being in the friend group sort of thing. Yeah. Whereas the family, you got your crazy uncle. He's still your fucking uncle. He's going to show up and be there and whatever, There's a line somewhere where that doesn't happen anymore, but it's just naturally a more triggering environment. In that way, it creates a really interesting opportunity. We'll talk pros, cons, but like, yeah, if it makes me think of these 2 yoga concepts come to mind. One is, if anything or anyone can steal your peace, you are the loser. So high pressure moment, whatever, and you're in a high trigger environment, like how can that, but it's supposed to be a peaceful moment, right? Like good testing ground for that. Imagine what it's like if you're so superpowered that despite the trigger environment of your family, you can not be. You can actually be lovingly detached from that. Great point. Yeah. That's pretty cool. The other thought is when you're saying, you don't choose your family. I love that concept in one way. In another way, the like more ethereal, philosophical, spiritual, bigger thing is you did choose your family. Like,
Yeah.
without going way down the rabbit hole and whatever, just from the way I look at it, you do choose the family you're born into. It is part of your dharma and karma. Like, you did choose your family. There is a purpose behind that.
Yep.
You're supposed to have a relationship with your family that is imperfect in exactly the imperfect ways that it is, so that you can become you.
So you can learn the lessons you're supposed to learn in this lifetime and overcome those lessons. Yeah.
Yeah. Or even beyond lessons, you might say, to create an experience for yourself, which allows a self-awareness opportunity.
Yeah, I love that. That's like a soothing ointment, you know? It's like, I find that I believe the same thing, actually, the older I get. That seems to resonate when I'm true. And it definitely, even if you don't believe it, it's helpful. It's helpful. It's a good explanation for one of the hard parts of life, which is, why do I get these cards and other people get these other cards? And this part that's difficult to reconcile, you know? And some people have horrific experiences and stories, and, you have your own adversities. And how does that all shake down? Well, my soul chose in my body and my particular parents, and because I want to learn about myself.
Right. And, maybe it's not even the first time we've done this. Like, it's a different dynamic in who's in which role in this game that we're playing. But whatever. Yeah, I think that can be soothing. Just to be clear, that's a personal self-acceptance, empowering, soothing thought for me. That doesn't mean to take boundaries down or to not, that you have to put up with some bullshit just because of your family. Like, that's not true either. It's both. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And I'd like to double down in your first point there. And sorry, there's some background noise with the tsunami warning systems being tested right now. So we have the big parade sirens going off in the background. It's kind of eerie. But don't worry, we're not getting bombed by the Russians or anything. Yeah, I'll double down on your first point too, Josh. I'd say that it's an opportunity to learn about yourself. Our last episode was what to do when you're triggered. And one of the main points that came out of that was you and I both recognized that actually when we're the most triggered is usually when we have the most insight into what's going on in that emotional world, what's in that well of pain, what we found the most hurtful before, and how, if we get triggered into that again, then it's a sign that, probably need to work on ourselves or love ourselves in those ways. And so that's how I view the holidays. It's like, I know people are going to push my buttons. I know I'm going to feel like redlining and snapping on people. And it's like, kind of privately just taking some notes. Dad said this and this happened, or uncle did this and then in front of my partner and I didn't appreciate it. And then later, like after the holidays, maybe even before the new year, like kind of sorting through that and going, okay, well, why did I get so touchy about that? Why did that particular thing bug me and all these other things didn't, Yeah, your triggers really are a window to like where your wounds lie. And so if you want to heal yourself, if you want to be less triggered in general, it's really this process of gradually learning about yourself and healing those wounds. What better time than around a bunch of people who are just like know exactly how to trigger you.
Yeah. Well, and I think by extension to that, like it gives you potential empowerment, like to take ownership as an extension for last episode too. If you see where your wounds lie, then you can start to look at it from a personal state where it's like, you're not going to change your dad saying the dumb shit or the uncle being weird or whatever else. Like there's a line somewhere where you have to speak up and stand against a boundary being crossed or something happening that's negative. But as long as that isn't crossed, you don't have to take it on. And so the reason this is coming to mind is that I think one of the things that happens and why the holidays can be so hard for people, and look, I'm totally empathetic to it. It's just, again, it's that delta between expectation and reality. But that is an externalized view of what's happening. So you go home for the holidays and your family's there, and like you were saying, this crystallized image of how it's supposed to be or how we've been indoctrinated how it should be as a good family or whatever. that's then when that doesn't happen, we get upset about it, and then we're like, ah, man, I really wish my brother wasn't like this. Happened even this year with me. My brother, he's on the autistic spectrum, and it's a little overwhelming for him to travel by himself and stuff like that. So that's understandable. But every year for the last 3 years, I'm like trying to get him to come meet us at Christmas. And I thought I almost had him this year, and then he sent me a note and said no, he couldn't. And I was kind of pissed off about it at first. But then, I just got over it because I'm like, well, no, he's actually communicating clearly, telling me that he doesn't want to and why he can't. Whatever. So I can choose to not be impacted by that, like not to be emotionally upset about it or be like, he's being a dumbass or whatever, because I totally would have before.
Yeah. Got all bent out of shape about it, right?
Yeah. Because he's not, my trigger associated with that is like an abandonment thing. And I'm like, that's not what's happening.
No, it's not. And so, if that were to happen this Christmas, good for you to catch yourself and go, oh, that's an abandonment thing. Oh, that's my old abandonment wound. Like he's not actually leaving me. It's not because he doesn't love me. It's his own stuff going on. Why did I jump to that feeling? Where is that feeling? What does that feeling remind me of? That's the opportunity in this for me.
Yeah. Well, and exactly, because what are we trying to avoid that time of year like this might highlight? You're trying to avoid a negative feeling, not an objective situation. So whether I'm not going to change him, be like, hey, you know what you should do? Get over the fact that you're on the autistic spectrum and it's overwhelming for you to travel during Christmas and ask for time off. Like, that's not going to fucking happen. And that's a ridiculous request, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with my family members too, I've got a family member very close to me who just likes to pit people against each other, like triangulation kind of stuff, because he's unhappy and he needs to cause drama and because he doesn't have purpose or significance, not really taking care of himself, doesn't really not do much with his time. And so he's going to take pretty benign little communications from different family members and like spin them against them. And it's going to he's trying to pit people against each other. And it's like, I used to get really upset about that. Now I'm like, nope, that's his default. Like, I just got to know how to deal with it, which is gray rocking, And I think a lot of people have people in their families that are narcissists. I think a lot of people have people in their families that struggle to deal with conflict. A lot of people are conflict avoidant. And so I found it really beneficial to research strategies and remind myself of strategies for dealing with those personality types going into the holidays. So that's going to be my strategy this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sean, like from men's group and through your fiance's work, etc., like if you had to peg it to what's the biggest like extreme issue? I have an idea in my mind, but I wanted to hear from you. Like what's the biggest extreme issue that people are experiencing during this time?
What do you mean biggest extreme issue? Can you clarify? Or
well, whatever, the cat out of the bag. It's like, in my mind, if we're not talking about family dynamics or whatever else, this jumps us to the single people conversation. I think loneliness is always the conversation,
Yeah. It's the abandonment wound or just fear of being alone. Totally. 100% of the time it's not 100%, but most of the time it's, well, it's if your family's getting upset at you or any of these scenarios we talked about, it's like what it is it's a dissolution of a fantasy that there's going to be closeness of your tribe, and that's really triggering for people. It drives people crazy.
Or you're actually alone, like
or you're actually alone and you don't have that.
Like you don't have any family.
Yeah, and that's even worse. So I felt that when I was single a lot. I felt like I was broken, or like they call it cuffing season, because you just leading up to the holidays, a lot of people just handcuff themselves to somebody else just to be able to bring somebody to the family Christmas or whatever, so they don't get asked those questions by their aunt. Young Josh, oh, you're still single? Hey, you're not a spring chicken anymore. Like I used to get that a fair bit, So yeah, I think it's just that. And then I think unfortunately the way that plays out is just in conflict. It's like people are feeling insecure and touchy. Somebody says something in the way they used to back in the day, and then everything gets inflamed and ramped up and goes from 0 to 100, and people are screaming at each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it. So I agree with you. I think that is the underlying core thing. And humans biologically are hardwired to be touchy about that, right? Because if we lost our tribe back in the day, for most of human history, that would have been meant death. So there's good reasons. It's not your fault, but like, it is good to understand that and know that and catch it. And just like you did with your brother. Well, why doesn't my brother want to come see me? Why isn't he putting in effort? Why doesn't he care about our family? No, he just has a tough time with these kinds of things. It's not about you. Why were you making it about you? Because you feel like you want that tribe of yours to be close. Why? Because you're afraid of being alone.
Right.
Yeah, pretty common.
Right. I mean, and going back to the family thing, like, it's my brother, you know? I love him and he's my brother, and the closeness of our relationship isn't as intense as maybe I'd ultimately aspire for it to be.
No, no.
And he's going to always be my brother, you know?
Yeah. And by the way, for the record as well, most people, the relationships with their siblings and parents are like that. They're not their friends. Like
Right.
until these past couple of years, I had a yearning to be like almost have a friendship with my parents or friendship with my brother. And one of my great mentors, who's also my doctor, and I was sick, said, Sean, you're a 35-year-old man. This was a little while ago. Time to leave the nest. Your father's not your friend. He's your father. His job is to raise you and then kick you out of the nest. That's it. Stop seeking friendship from your family. And that hit me like a truck, because I was like, not only was he bang on, but like I was really longing for that closeness, you know, that I had with my brother when we were kids. But we're just such different people. It's like, it's not, I don't think it's realistic, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's funny in this conversation, what comes to mind for me is I was always actually pretty close with my dad. Like I would say that we were friends. And that's something that we've lost, is some of that closeness throughout the years. And so I've like kind of grieved that. With my brother, when we're together, I feel like there is a potential closeness or whatever. But somehow in this dynamic, and this is a bit of a spin-off, but related to all of this conversation, is there's like holidays always highlights a hyper awareness of fairness in my mind, where I'm like, dude, I've got 2 businesses, a wife, 3 kids. I live in another fucking country, and I'll pay for your plane ticket and you can't fucking get on the plane and come down here for either of them. I'm like, what the fuck? I'll pick you up at the airport. You know, like,
come on.
What else are you doing? And then you'll send me some weird passive aggressive email about being lonely on Christmas and no one cares about you and you're going to eat at Denny's. You know, I'm like, no, fuck off. You know, it's on me really to come, and neither of them have a place that my family can come to visit. Like physically, you know, neither of them have a house. Neither of them have so there's this like push and pull there even. But as you were saying that, it made me think like, it just made me think like, and whatever, when they decide to come, they come and hang out sometime, they will. And that's good enough, because we're not supposed to be friends necessarily. Or maybe we will one day. I don't know. Yeah.
No, and that fairness piece is so common, you know, it's so common. And it often, again, that's great exploration. Like, when did that feeling start for you? When can you remember feeling that when you were young? You know, how did you feel like things were unfair? But I think that's a common way that it plays out and is expressed, for sure, for a lot of people. Yeah.
I know I've got family on my wife's side, and then also other friends. I hear them talk about it, and I find it interesting, you know, because they're really having this serious conversation. We're like, well, last year at Christmas we went there, so it's their turn to come here. I'm not going back and buying plane tickets 2 years in a row, like shit like that. And I'm like, well, do you want to be together or not? You know, it seems petty.
Yeah, same. I've got the same stuff going on in my family. A lot of people I know feel that way too. It comes back to that acceptance piece, which we talked a lot about in the last episode, what to do when you're triggered. Just like the more you can accept it, the less you have a fantasy of what it's going to be and how people are going to show up, the better time you're going to have, you know, and the less drama there's going to be. So if you just know that, you know, people around you aren't going to X, Y, Z, and if you want this to happen, you're going to have to do this and this and this. And is it worth it for you to do it? Well, that's something for you to reconcile. It sounds like the answer is yes. So then it's worth, you know, doing more effort in these ways for this experience. But you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for them. Because I think that's partly why people get bent out of shape about the fairness, is like, well, I'm doing this for you. And, you know, it's like, no, you can either choose to do it with the people, accepting them as they are. They can show up in this way or not. Do you want to do it? Yes or no? Even though it requires extra logistics and stuff, and you're probably not going to get thanked for it. Well, yes, or no, that's fine too.
Yeah. That's one thing as a side comment, despite me shitting on my dad's vagabondness a little bit here. He's also super clear. I'm like, hey, you should come down here for Christmas. I'll just be like, I don't want to.
Yeah, totally.
I'm like, fucking stab me in the heart. And also, Daddy. Okay, like at least we're straight on what's going on.
Yeah. That's cool.
So
yeah.
So one thing that comes to mind, and then I'd be curious what you've sort of learned as tools for coping with this, specifically the family thing. One thing that comes up for me is I think that this awareness theme leads to this other thought, which is even when you become aware of what your triggers are or how this is difficult and like start taking ownership over that, for me, and look, I don't have this perfect at all. The weird thing that happened is I realized I could be aware of something and I still was unaware of what I actually wanted. So I was finding myself triggered or upset in a scenario like Christmas or whatever. But if my wife or someone was to ask me, like, well, what do you want? I didn't know. I couldn't be like, I wish it was like this. Like, I know that I don't like this scenario, but I can't even tell you what I'm calibrating for. So then the ownership that I would have would be like, I didn't try to create the scenario that would make me happy either. So I was just getting pissed off.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, I want to have a big Christmas tree in the house. This was years ago, happened here because we were in Mexico. And so Christmas feels different as a Canadian because like you're so used to it being cold and dark and whatever. And then it's like, it's snowy, right? So it's like beachy instead. So then I was like, no, like I want a Christmas tree in our house. Not a big one or whatever else, but like that's important to me. But the year prior, I was like pissed off that we didn't have one. And then we got some janky piece of shit and put it up like 2 days before. And then it was kind of pointless. And it just died right away. You know, like, and I realized I never said to myself, let alone anyone else, it's Christmas time. I want a Christmas tree. That wasn't a thing. I was just angry that we didn't have it because I didn't like figure that out, you know?
That's such a I mean, I can relate that so much. And yeah. Now you got a Christmas tree, which makes sense. It's the centerpiece of your Christmases back in the day. So it's okay that you want that nostalgic piece there, you know? But isn't that just like the case for like all getting triggered? And there's such a great story, Josh. Thank you for sharing it. Such a great story. But like, you know, typically when I'm triggered, there's no like, I'm not even clear about what I want. I just know I'm upset about something. It's only like very little, unless I've already run into this recently and given some time to think it through after, like process through it. Usually when I'm triggered, there's no like, I have to step away and figure out what I want. Usually I'm just upset about what's in front of me or what I'm not getting, or, you know, and again, that's part of the opportunity is like, I'm upset about this. Usually it's like through getting upset about something, then I have to follow it up with, well, okay, so I'm resisting this. I don't want this, but why? What do I want here? Like, what is the outcome that I do want? Or, well, and I have to ask that because otherwise I can't communicate it to people. So yeah, I mean, I can relate that a lot.
So my thought is, and I wonder what you think about this, because maybe you're more versed in this specifically than me. But this is a drill that my therapist has given me in different contexts before. So it's like, okay, you're going to go home for the holidays, sit down for a minute, or like think about it for a day, literally write down on paper, like, what do I get from this? Like me personally, what do I want from this? Not like the present list, but like, how do I want to feel? Like, what's the value of me participating in this way? Get that clear, because how that's been powerful for me is then I'm like, well, okay, I want to feel whatever, connected to these other people. I want to be relaxed from work. I want to eat good food because that's, you know, it's like a special time of escapism around eating or whatever, or something like that. Like, cool. So like, as long as that's what I'm shooting for, I'm just going to check those boxes, me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the rest of it, whatever, fuck it. Don't have to get worried about it.
Yeah. I think it's really useful to like prepare going into something like this. If you know you're going to get triggered, if you know there's going to be people there you're going to have a hard time with, is like writing it down exactly. Like, why does this make sense for me? Like, why is it important that I go? What am I going to get from it? Maybe it's just like showing your kids how to do this, you know, show up in a difficult environment and be a leader in that way. Maybe it's just like giving your friends or your kids the extended family experience because it's useful to be stuck in a room with a bunch of people that are just difficult, but still find a way to love each other. That is a useful skill. Maybe it's just like you just want to spend time with your family members before they get old and die or whatever, even though it's difficult. Whatever reasons you have. And regret's fine. Like for me, a big reason is I will know that I will regret it. As difficult as it is, as gnarly as some of my family members can be, I know that I will regret it if I don't go when they die. I'll be like, damn, right. I would give anything just for one more sitting on the couch and just having a chat with my dad about the fucking weather or whatever, hockey, or I know that it'll be that day. I'm trying not to cry while I talk about that. And so that's why I'm doing it. And then I'd also write down like why, like what are the common pitfalls I get like caught up in, what people are typically going to do, so that when it comes up, I'm not as caught off guard by it, and then I can respond more appropriately, which is usually with like not engaging or leaving the room or just like changing the subject.
Yeah, have a plan. It's funny you say that. Like, that's something I've been putting into very practical practice a lot this last year, especially going through this addiction moment for my wife. And, addiction's a family disease. So, like, just, you got to have a plan. We're like, okay, we're going out like this. It's the holidays. We're going out. There's this holiday events in town. In the past, I'd have been super fucked up at it or something, or probably drinking or all the above,
Yeah.
Now that's not happening. So like, but other people are going to be, that's the memory of the event. Like, that can be really triggering. You just go in there blind to catch you off guard, you're in trouble. So instead, it's like, we've got to have a plan. Okay, this is what it's going to be like. We're only staying until this point. If this happens, this is the code. This is the code for fuck this place. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, or even just a short takeaway, just like excuse yourself.
Yeah.
I'm going to excuse myself to the bathroom. I'm going to take the dog for a walk. And boundaries are part of that, right? Like, for example, I've learned that there's certain social situations or family situations where I just can't expose too much of myself, because people will take those details and then they'll like use them against me when they're upset about something later on. So like, I got to prepare myself mentally for when people ask, hey, questions about me personally. Like, I don't want to give them too much, And so, hey, how have things been? I got to have an answer for that. Just not going to give them too much, which is called gray rocking in psychology. It's a tactic used with narcissism and stuff. You just don't give them too many details, because then they'll lose interest and try to sink their teeth into somebody else. And so, yeah, like, how's your work going? I'm a sharer, an oversharer. Usually I want to share all the things I'm feeling about it. But I'll go, with my family, the plan is, yeah, it's going great. Yeah, things are good. Yep, steady Eddie. And the reason why is because that's what they want to hear. Anything else to stress them out.
Yeah. Yeah.
How's life been? I downplay the highs, because it seems like they end up retreating when I'm doing really well, or like getting upset about it. So I just don't share that. So I got a plan with how I'm going to be boundaried around certain characters. And that's really served me thus far, because then then we don't get caught up in those old like tailspins around certain dynamics. Instead, we can just enjoy what we like about each other.
Yeah, I think it's good awareness too. Like, what does the family want? Like, what do they actually want to hear? Are they asking because, is the dynamic, this is the same with your friends from our previous episodes and Triggered last time, like, it's a theme. Just if I'm asking my good friend, I'm like, hey, if I'm asking you, like, I know this thing is just happening in the business, like, you good? Like, what's going on with that? Or like, I had a buddy, whatever, sent a weird WhatsApp message not that long ago, and I messaged him right, like, in a group chat. And it freaked me out. Like, I had this thought. I was like, this is what it looks like if a guy can't ask for help when he's asking for help. So I messaged him privately. I was like, hey, like, real quick, are you okay? Like, straight up, and I was looking for the real answer. Versus the like, how are you doing? Like, the certain family members or like a certain acquaintance, they want just that answer you're talking about. Like, yeah, things are great. Thanks for asking.
Or, what, they might most people just want pleasantries and to keep things light, for sure, and to not take things deep. But also, a lot of people do desire that in the moment. They actually want to know, but like, they don't have the toolkit to be able to manage that. So I've had scenarios where like family members have asked me like, how's the relationship going? And that's a really nice question to get from your dad or whoever. But then if 2 hours later, when they're triggered about something else, they're going to go, like, completely spin a situation. This has happened to me before, where they go, oh, and Sean was just complaining about his relationship all dinner. He always has to make it all about him.
Right.
Like that. If that's if that's happened before and there's a pattern there, then it's really pragmatic to just not play that game and have a plan for it.
Yeah, that's a good call out. If your vulnerability gets used as ammunition against you, if it's your wife,
Yeah.
Right. If it's your best friend or your wife, like you might have to work through that relationship to figure out how to do that. If it's someone that has a repeated history of that and you know it's going to happen, like you can't fix people. So like just avoid it altogether.
Totally.
I,
And that's just such a common strategy for most families too. If I asked my parents, hey, if I had asked my dad back in the day, how's work going? He'd say, fine, I survived. He'd keep it short and with like a bit of a blow off answer. And so you're not doing anything wrong by responding that same way that most people would or that they have in the past. You don't, just because they asked doesn't mean you need to open your vault up and give them access to all your feelings or like everything. Just like keep it short and move on to the next topic where it's not gonna.
yeah. Yeah.
Like I'll just change topic back to hockey or golf or the weather or politics or whatever my family likes talking about, and I don't mind bullshitting about those things once a year. So bring it back to that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
The two notes I took too in this conversation, one related to this is don't fix your family. This is in general, but like the holidays again, like hyper amplified testing ground. I can think right now of 2 or 3 people in Jenna's family that they're very consistently who they are. Like for years and years and years, they show up in the same way, like decades. That is who they are. They're clearly not trying to change it. And I'm not even saying like they're negative or anything. It's just the whole family just accepts them as that person.
Mm-hmm.
And they show up as that person. And so there's actually a real pleasantness to that, because then it's like, we're not trying to change anything. We're not challenging their reality. We're not trying to fix anything. It's not your job to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You can take that across a lot of people external from yourself. You can't change anyone. I can't make you do anything.
Yeah.
So
that is a really mature lesson that a lot of people have to learn in life, myself included. And family's a great place to practice it, because at the end of the day, everybody's trying their best with the tools and resources and experience they've had. And like, even if if somebody criticizes a decision I made, even if it was dumb when I was younger, like looking back, like for the person I was at that point in time and what I was trying to accomplish and what I was feeling and my relationships at the time, it's like I couldn't have done any different. And so, yeah, your dad's not going to change his communication. Your neighbor isn't, people at work aren't. So I think it's a really good lesson and a really good practice to try to come back to that empathy and compassion for people.
Yeah, there's an acceptance.
Yeah, it's definitely
I
hard.
think that's one. It's very hard. I think that's one of the potential values of holiday time is an acceptance of reality.
Mm-hmm.
Like that might not. It's a value. It doesn't mean that it's pleasant in all cases, right?
No. And most wisdom isn't pleasant to acquire.
Right. The other. Most wisdom isn't pleasant to acquire. Fucking absolute truth. The other note that I have here is we were talking about showing your kids how to show up or whatever. What that triggered for me is I've had this thought a lot in a few scenarios recently, holidays being one of them, where I'm like, I'm not only showing them how to show up and sort of to how to adult in the situation, given the change in dynamic that I was describing, but also like I'm going to be the grandparent one day. And they're going to have a podcast talking shit about me being a fucking psycho in the holidays. And like, my dad he still won't tie my hockey skates, whatever.
Yeah, totally. He's talking about fishing. Nobody wants to hear about fishing.
He's just talking about fucking fishing. Oh, and no one even goes fishing. All the fish are dead on the earth, whatever. So I don't know. It's an interesting thought that like, if you do that, we talked about this in a previous episode. If I future project, if I'm like, okay, cool. Now I'm 65-year-old, 70-year-old me. My kids are coming to my house for Christmas with their kids. And that's the dynamic. Like, what do I want that to be? Mm-hmm. And would I want that to be they show up and they're like, Dad, we need you to change. I want you to change in these ways or whatever. Or like for us to have, nope. I would be like, I want us to all just enjoy being here and just enjoy each other's company.
Just for a short
that's
time.
It.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, just to kind of accept who people are and that we're on this wild ride together somehow. We're souls that end up being family, and it's just like, okay, let's go, and although I will say, Josh, that like it is easier in families with less dysfunction. So like, there's alcoholic family systems.
Sure.
There's, this adult children of immature parents book is really pointed out that like, it's really hard to have healthy relationships with people that are using unhealthy communication strategies over and over again. I have empathy for that. It's a result of their upbringing and whatever. It's just their way to try to get love. But I see families around me. We actually have these. Katie and I have these people we call our cool parents. It's actually a couple that I met off an internet forum on the border of Mexico at 4 a.m. outside of a Motel 6 because we were going to convoy get down to spend the season in this kiteboarding town. And so you link up with people online to do the drive together because it was dangerous. And so I met this couple, and they're like in their 60s. I happened to bring walkie-talkies so that we could communicate. And driving down there, we just became fast friends over these walkie-talkies. And they're like similar age to my parents, but they're like doing biking trips through Morocco and kiteboarding trips in Thailand. And we spend time with them. And they ironically live like 2 blocks from my real parents' house. And we go over there for Christmas. And after Christmas, we kind of sneak over there. And they have these beautiful relationships with their growing kids. And they still trigger each other for sure. Like you can see the kids are annoyed with some of the things the parents do, but there's different degrees of it, like much different degrees. And you can see there's a lot more love there. There's a lot more bitterness, a lot less bitterness and resentfulness. And so the point being is if you're a person that works on yourself, which you are, Josh, and you're honest about your shortcomings and you're open to receiving those and working on them, then hopefully by the time we are the old people sitting around the table talking about the way it used to be and putting our foot in our mouths and stuff, that people will, I don't know, it'll be a healthier environment, healthier family system,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to that point, this goes back to the boundaries element of things too, that like all of this comes with the caveat that like if someone's putting you in real danger, if someone's actually being abusive, if someone's like, if you're putting an opportunity on the table and someone's not putting any effort towards it at all, like there's a line somewhere that like you don't need to cross. You can't force something to happen. That's the whole thing with Change Your Family too. Like if you got an alcoholic in the family and they're just going to be a total fuck and it's like actually putting you in danger or going to be terrible for your kids or whatever, like maybe it is in your highest image that you go and have Christmas with them, but maybe that looks like you can't fucking stay with them. It's going to be one dinner in the afternoon and they get the fuck out of there. Whatever.
A lot of people,
or
that's
maybe
the reality.
It's not.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people, that's the reality.
reality.
Yeah. You're not staying over. You're not doing the 3 days in a row because it's just, you've had 40 Christmases so far with them and 39 of them ended up in tears. It's like, well, and I've had to do that, right? I've had to take steps back and spend less time there and be more strategic about what we're doing, have a bit of a plan for activities because just sitting around leads to drinking and that's not good. Yeah. So it's, that's true. How about work, Josh? Great discussion on family there. Hopefully anybody listening found that helpful. Work is another one. And you have a lot of experience with this, work, how the holidays have play out in work dynamics, the stress. Yeah. Talk about that.
I think that everyone inherently knows and sometimes even talks about how it's a stressful time with work, whether you're working for someone, but especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're a small business owner or whatever, like super stressful. But for some reason, the cultural conversation that I see is not talking about how to deal with it. Like talking about how to deal with loneliness, how to deal with family or whatever during the holidays. That's a normalized conversation now more and more. The work part of it, no. And so I think it's an important one, and I think it's something to own, not especially, stereotypically as man, if you are one of the core providers, if you're not a stay-at-home dad in the family, it can be fucking super stressful, like super high pressure because it's the end of the year, so you're like trying to wrap things up for the year. There's certainly an element of hoping for performance bonus or something during this time. You're also trying to take time off personally, like you need to exhale yourself personally to reset for the new year maybe. And
prep for that vacations, like get everything all set up for that.
Right. And if you're going to be off work, like it needs to keep functioning while you're not there. Like it's just a lot all at the same time. Expenditures in the family. This is not specific to the male-female dynamic. It could go the other way as well. But I have a lot of buddies that they're like, I don't want to get canceled. But like my real tension point is I'm fucking killing myself at work. And my partner is spending a shit ton of money on Christmas right now. And it's like,
Yep.
The bills are serious. And then even beyond that, there's also the element of like you yourself maybe feel an obligation to spend a lot of money. So long story short, work dynamics are fuckety. A couple of things that come up. One is this scenario. It's a little bit a spin-off of the family dynamics. I think the core scenario is, I would call it having one foot in two boats. Where you're like, I want to have time off and be with my family and just enjoy it and love them and whatever. But I also want to take advantage of this moment in my business to get prepped for the new year, and I have to do this, that, or the other thing. And I want to just let my business just relax and run on its own and not try to build something. But at the same time, January is coming and maybe that's a busy season for me or whatever else. Like, yeah, it's this sense of you're trying to do both of those things. You can't commit to either then.
Especially as like the visionary, the CEO of a company, it's like, I gotta like set the yearly vision, and I need to communicate that to all the staff and stuff. And to do that, I need to reflect upon this year, and you need to review financials, so those need to be ready, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it's a lot to pack into a small time.
Yeah. So most of the clients that I coach as well, January, February, March, Q1 is a big time of year for them. We're mostly in like I mostly coach service, wellness, boutique fitness. So this time of year is busy, and then coming to January, it's like super boomy for a lot of them. So that's an amplified case where, yeah, they want to kind of check out or take the break, and they feel like they can't. Their business needs the attention.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I'm lucky because I run a small organization, so I just delay my yearly planning or whatever. But for a lot of people, that's not an option,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's why I do a business summit every year. And because we do it down here in Mexico at this point, we do it right at the start of November. And what we do at that summit is we plan out the business this entire next year. What we found is like, it doesn't work with weather. And for most people, they can't get in the headspace. We're talking like early October, although that would probably be an even better time. But it's right. Because we know, we're like, no one's going to do it come December.
Right.
Like you almost can't.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah. I've never been able to. It's like I'm kind of scrambling to get my work week done on the 23rd, and then I drive for like half a day to get to my family's place, and I just settling in there on Boxing Day, and then all the Christmas stuff starts for a couple days, and then usually Boxing Day it's like something broke in my house and I need to go to some store to get something, and then I drive back, and then it's like the 28th, and yeah, you got like 3 or 4 days to like do all that. No way.
Right. So here's the flip side of it though too. If you are, especially an entrepreneur or business owner, where like, you're not working for someone else, just doing your job. There's also an opportune moment that presents itself, and that's the one foot in two boats problem. That if you make a really conscious decision, you're like, okay, during the holidays, actually, I'm going to be focused on work. Like, it doesn't mean I'm not doing any holiday stuff, but like I'm going to let go of any major expectation or huge performance or going away or a bunch of time off. I'm going to let go of that idea altogether because I want to focus on work. That's also a possible thing, but that feels like people will challenge that. People will be like, oh, what do you mean you're working on Boxing Day? You're like, because I fucking want to. Totally. I want to work on Boxing Day, Mm-hmm. Here's an example. The gap between Christmas and New Year's, 26th through the 31st, 50, 60, 80% of people in Western culture, what are they doing?
Chilling,
barely working, fucking around. They're on their phone, they're on their TV, they're on their computer. If you are a certain type of service, boutique fitness, yoga studio, whatever else, that is an awesome moment to be marketing like fucking crazy.
Yep.
Like just go hard right then.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good time to work, or let it go and take the time off yourself. Run one class, yoga studio, or like run one class a day and check out. No one will be upset about it. So yeah, but it's picking. Are you doing this or are you doing that? Which side is it?
Yeah. It's the no man's land that kills you, feeling like you need to do. I want to crush, and I'm going to try to fit it in, but I'm also not going to set my schedule up for that. So I'm just going to be multitasking and jumping between family and that. Yeah, as a younger man, I used to love the idea that, there's 6 days where I can gain some ground on everybody else,
Yes.
Like, if everybody else is going to be sleeping, I'm going to be working.
While everyone's sleeping, yeah.
And for a lot of holidays, I do that because I take time off when I need it, and I don't need a stat holiday on Monday when everybody else has time off. I'd rather take a day off when nobody else is around, not stand in lines and get in traffic and stuff like that. But the holidays as I get older, I'm more and more just like being like, okay, it's already a lot, and I want to enjoy this family time because it's becoming less and less. It's like the only time of the year I actually do that with my family now. So these days, I've actually started taking that time off. So it's the pendulum's kind of swung for me. How about you?
Yeah, I would say that's true. I was more in the hustle. I think every year is a little bit different, but the last year and this year, I'm more around like, no, it's holiday time. I'm gonna take the time off and be more checked out.
Totally.
But I'm happy with that. Like that's the decision that I'm making. Maybe that'll change again.
Have you seen more conflict around the people in your business around the holidays as well? Like, have you seen them be more touchy, more emotional?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good call out. I think there's a compounding thing. So mostly I'm working with, people in more of a service industry. So they themselves have their own family dynamic. Then they have their own business employee dynamic, right? And then they're also in the service industry, so they're serving clients who also have those same things.
Yeah, right.
So you have like an emotionally charged client maybe during this year who's asking for your service, plus staff who's then servicing that person who also have their shit, and then you have yours. Like that's a compounding thing. So it can get a bit it can get a bit crazy real fast, And the thing that happens are these little things that people who aren't entrepreneurs maybe just don't think about, like, because they don't have to. So, for example, if you have a membership at a studio, there's a lot of December is a big cancellation moment. There's like this wave of cancellation that happens around there. Not like super huge, but people are like, oh well, since Thanksgiving I haven't been back in. It's been a week. I'm going away for a week in Christmas, or I'm checking out and I'm not going to be practicing. Like I'm not even here for this month. Maybe you have a reduced schedule as well. Like I'll come back and I'm strapped financially this year. I'm worried about all the expenditures I have with Christmas presents and food and shit. So cancel my membership. We've seen it in the most extreme. You see a business where they've got 500 monthly paying members and like 100 of them cancel. Like you just, 1 month, just 20% gone. If that happens, and then your staff's like, can we have a Christmas bonus? Right? Like that's fucking stressful.
It's very stressful.
So it's tricky. You have to kind of, and that can spill into your personal life. Goes the other way. Then you're the person that's grumpy at Christmas because you can't commit to being there.
Touchy and strung out.
And touching about strung out. Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Yeah.
Been there. We'll probably be there this year. We've been building an app all year, and it's like financially become way more of a thing than I thought I'd be. And I'm definitely that guy these days. It's a season, but I'm definitely that guy. I love your thoughts on work and business, Josh. I'd love to hear your thoughts on like single people and the holidays quickly before we move around to some stats and maybe get into the how to manage it. In a men's group, we have a lot of guys that are divorced. And I remember going through a breakup during the holidays. It was just the fucking worst. Everything you see is cheery couples doing romantic things. And it can be this, the sense like you're really missing out or like you're doing things wrong. What would you say to single people or people who are have gone through breakups around the holidays?
Yeah. Couple thoughts come to mind. I mean, more, again, like hyper awareness is what the holidays create. So it becomes this weird testing ground in general, outside of the holidays. The most empowered place in a lot of dynamics that you can be is being okay with yourself. It's like with being alone. Even in my marriage, if I can comfort myself and be grounded myself, my relationship's better. Mm-hmm. That's where the attachment theory comes in, for if I need the validation from the other person in the relationship. So when you're single, you can look at it like I'm alone during the holidays and this sucks and poor me, or like have a relationship. This is way easier said than done for anyone listening. Like So please understand. I fucking get it. But like, yeah, being alone and being okay being alone during a time like this, that's actually like a kind of fucking crazy empowering thing. You know, what do you
Yeah.
want to do? Like, is there an event you can do? Is there somewhere you can go? Is there rest you can catch up on? Is there a trip you can take? Is there like, you also have a freedom that other people don't have.
Totally.
So maybe that's good.
I think it is. I mean, the times that I've been single or going through breakups, the holidays are really useful. A good time to dig into myself. Good time to reflect upon like what happened this year and what I want next year to be different. How I want to approach my relationships differently if that's the part that I'm hurting around in my life. And also just to not buy into the projected fantasy from the media or from people around you that, oh, everything's cheery around the holidays. It's not. Most couples are fighting in the car on the way to those Christmas events. Most people are
Yeah.
getting drunk and cheating on their partners or doing stupid stuff at office parties. It's like it's
Yeah.
not all sunshine and rainbows. I hear about it every day in men's group, and for some people it is, but for most people it's definitely not. And year after year, I can guarantee you it's not for most people.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause-
let me add to that, Sean. I would say the everything could be spun one direction or the other. So yes,
Yeah.
and if you're single, and this is, I would say that this holiday time is a very romantic time of year. Like people want to talk about February and Valentine's Day. That to me is not romantic at all. This is the romantic time of year.
This is
So
it,
then,
yeah.
if you're single, like this might be a moment where you have an opportunity to encounter someone who, as well as experiencing a hyper awareness of the fact that they're single and is reevaluating who they're looking for and what they want in a relationship, and like is maybe more open than normal to a connection, you know?
Totally.
That
It's an
could also
opportunity.
be happening. Yeah.
I always found that when I was single, because I was single for a lot of Christmases and Valentine's Days and stuff, and those are always the best times for me to meet women, honestly.
Yeah.
People were keen to meet up, keen to get together, keen to explore things.
I'd be super curious about like dating app statistics around. I have no idea what it would look like, but it'd be fascinating, I'm sure.
How much it ramps up for these holidays and stuff? 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. What is
Oh,
it?
it's
What is
gotta be.
it?
And just how many
looks
people
like?
are like there's nobody tracking this. But, like how many more people are having sex with people they don't actually like. Like how much more likely you are to get laid on these holidays on the dating apps versus not. People just want to like soothe that loneliness, so they're more open to getting together and might be a little bit more open to some romance.
Yeah. And cool. I don't know.
Yeah, great. What do you got to do? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to be like that, so all good.
If you're single during the holidays and you're romantically single, the other thing about like being alone is, this is going to sound really weird maybe, like I don't know how to say it like this. Figure out how to be alone with yourself romantically.
Yeah.
This is not a thing dudes do. This is not a typical,
No.
like,
And we don't mean Pornhub.
and I don't mean Pornhub. Yeah. And I don't mean an AI girlfriend, and I don't mean a robot, Like buy yourself a nice masturbator, fine. But like no, but like there is a self-connection in that energetic part of who you are that also like maybe it's an opportunity to discover it.
Yeah.
You don't need another person to feel romantic,
Totally. Yeah, and part of dating and finding a partner for me was learning to give myself fulfill those needs for myself, so that I wasn't so needy when I'd be on dates, because the neediness would cloud my judgment. It would make me pine after a result instead of like actually evaluating, is this good person a good fit for me. And so like learning to take yourself out on dates, to get yourself some love, go get a massage if you want some touch, and tell the massage therapist about your life. That's an intimate connection, take your friend's dog for a walk and play with it. There's things you can do that make you feel close to others and stuff like
What's the thing that the friend says in the movie Something About Mary? He's like, you don't jerk it before you go out on a date? You're going out with a loaded gun?
Yeah, loaded shotgun.
It's like, no. You gotta take care of that yourself. Maybe think of that.
Yeah, I gotta take care of yourself first. That's a bit of a different purpose, and I can like, verify that works. I can verify that works. I'll tell you, unless you have a few drinks, and you're like, oh, why did I do that? hinder your
Damn it.
performance a little bit later on down the line if you take other performance hindering substances. But it's true, you can give yourself that. Again, it's that self-awareness piece. I'm feeling lonely. Oh, I really want a partner. Why? Because I really want to share this with somebody. Maybe go to some of these events with a friend then. Call up a good friend, go, hey, the single friend, go, hey, I fucking hate doing this stuff alone. You want to be my plus one in my work party? And bring a buddy. Lots of people do that.
That would be kind of funny. I would definitely do that.
Yeah. Take yourself shopping. Take yourself to a movie. Like, go to a holiday movie and fantasize about what it would be like to be doing this with a partner and what kind of partner would make this experience better, Like, use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Movie theaters and Chinese food restaurants. They were just booming in this,
around
like,
holidays. Just
3, 4, 5 day moment.
People. The saddest scene from the saddest holiday movie.
Right.
Rom-com gone wrong. Yeah, don't watch rom-coms.
Don't watch rom-coms.
I'm just kidding. I always enjoyed that even when I was single, watching Notting Hill or, I don't know, these cheesy, just one or two, just to remind myself that does exist. And I'm in a relationship like that now where that's there, so it's a good reminder too, I guess, that stuff is possible. You want to get into some stats quickly? Let's just do some quick chat GPTing here. I got some stats on cue. Maybe you can look up some, Josh. Maybe look up the dating stats. Mental health and stress during the holidays. The National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, reports that 64% of people with mental health issues say their conditions significantly worsen during the holidays. According to a 2021 study by the American Psychiatric Association, 41% of Americans feel significantly increased stress during the holidays, primarily due to financial strain, family dynamics, and a pressure to maintain holiday traditions. Everything we're talking about. A 2022 survey by Lending Tree found that 36% of Americans go into debt each year due to holiday spending, adding to post-holiday financial stress and issues. Elderly population, research from Age UK indicates that 1.5 million older people feel a lot more isolated and lonely during the holidays. Many of whom not getting to speak to anyone for days and weeks, but get subject to all the holiday cheer and lights and stuff. When you put it that way, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And also strikingly sad.
Someone should make a horror movie that's the premise.
Yeah, totally.
Like a psychological horror movie. Just everywhere you look, Christmas, Christmas, Christmas.
That's probably what happens in hell. If hell is a real place and you end up down there, you're probably single and then Christmas is happening.
You're just single at Christmas time over and over and over.
You're single and old and Christmas is happening, yeah.
Even if you're not Christian. It's like, too bad.
Too bad. You're here.
You're doing it.
20%, 27% of single adults and 33% of divorced individuals feel significant, desperate loneliness during the holiday season compared to the rest of the year.
That's tough. That's a large percentage.
Here's a good one. Family conflicts. A study by the American Psychological Association. I don't know why I have such trouble saying that word. I always have. I'm not a part of any associations. Maybe that's why. They found that 69% of people experience family-related conflicts and stress during the holidays, often due to unresolved conflicts and too high expectations. 69% of people. So that verifies it, Josh, that it is the majority of people that deal with difficult family situations.
Well, and it also confirms the idea of like it says, expectations,
Yep. What about you? You got any lined up?
Yeah. I found one commenting on cuffing season, the cuffing season phenomenon.
Yeah.
Late fall through winter is supported by anecdotal platform data, but there's often a noticeable increase in individuals looking for more committed relationships during the holiday season. Colder weather, more frequent indoor activities, cultural significance of the holidays being the leading things that lead people to say that they are, yes, happily looking for more committed relationship.
Isn't that funny? In the summer, everybody wants to fuck around, and then the winter is like, oh, it's time for a relationship.
Yeah, better hunker down. Gonna need someone to chop that firewood. Yeah. Upticks in breakups before the holidays. 2010 analysis of Facebook status updates found an increase in breakups leading into December.
Yeah, it's
Well, that
always a
might
tough
not be
one, right? It's like,
dating
do you do
per
it before
se.
the holidays? Do you do it after? Sorry, go on.
No, it just continues to say it might not be a perfect data set to show actual dating, but at least the status. I mean, I think it is. Who updates their status on Facebook? I got friends who are divorced for 3 years and still says they're married on their Facebook status. No one goes in there. So
That'd be the first thing I do. I want everybody to know I'm not with that B anymore.
yeah,
I'm kidding around. Yeah, I mean, that was always a tough one for me. Is like, do you pull the ripcord before or do you wait until after to avoid all the awkwardness? I did both early in my dating career when I was less confident, less sure of myself. I would just pretend over Christmas with the partner and then break up with them after, or we'd break up after. However, as I got older, I was like, I can't do that. Parade this person around till the holiday party thing and pretend like everything's fine. So I'd just get it done earlier, and then I'd be the sad guy at the work party.
right. But yeah, because in hindsight, it's kind of comical in the awkwardness of it. You're like, oh, cool, Sean. How was Twyla? You're like, we broke up. It's like it's January 5th. Like we're done.
Yeah. It's like Christmas Eve. Everybody's in their costumes and they got their champagne with their partner on their arm. They're like, oh, how you been? It's like just got dumped. You know, all of a sudden you're the real guy. Yeah.
Yeah. App Insights. Some platforms release an annual year-in swipe or year-in review report, Tinder and Bumble. They highlight spikes in app engagement during late December and early January.
I can see that.
Internal company stats often note increased activity, more right swipes, and longer sessions during and right after the holiday season. So everyone breaks up coming into the holidays if they're going to, and then panic swipes for New Year's.
I wish they could track standards too. Like I know they have a ranking hierarchy in like those apps like Tinder. I wish they'd say like, you know, people go 2 points down out of 10 or something like that come the holiday season. That'd be funny.
Have you ever seen? I've seen it on TikTok, but I'm pretty sure he's on other channels. It's called Math.
No.
Terrible name, super offensive.
I like that name.
Funny.
Intrigued. Intrigued. Yeah.
It's funny in its borderline truth / controversy. But one of the things, it's the guy, you just see his hand drawing pictures and talking through Math. So the crux of it is women view themselves all as a 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 10. And they all look for a man who is at least 2 grades above. So if you're a 5, you're always looking for a 7 or above, right? And so whereas men actually try to date at the same level or are willing to go down one, and we often don't shoot our shot going up. And so you have a disproportionate number of guys who have availability of their pick of the litter, so to speak. But I can't remember the details of it, but he did one on holidays, and it was suggesting this too. It was like the blip in reality where, you know, people looking for the 8 and above will be like, I'll look at a 7.
Yeah.
It's holiday time, you know.
Totally, yeah. I've seen my female friends do it. We're doing the summer, you know, and they're walking around their booty shorts, and then they're getting a lot of attention, and they're like, some nice guy will approach them or whatever, and they'll be like, you know, he's kind of just like, you know, cold water or whatever, like not really that interesting. But then come winter, I just want a good guy. I'm just looking for a good guy, somebody who, you know, will take it and be there for me. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. I mean, I'm guilty of that too, but definitely seen it in females.
Dude, this conversation came up recently for me was the conversation of, because I had my beard and my hair's a little longer. I jumped in the water and this woman was like, hey, you look just like Jack Black. And I was like,
that's
not a compliment. Like, that dude's funny, but physical sex appeal, no. You know, that's not. And then she's like, no, what I meant is like, I find him attractive because he's funny. And I was like, yeah, but I just jumped in the water. You know, like I wasn't telling you a joke. She's like, no. And then it came up about the movie The Holiday, which everyone's watched. I don't know. All the women I know talk about, they're like, oh, Jack Black in the holidays, like he's kind of so sexy, whatever else, because of this character that he plays. But I'm like, yeah, but it's only because it's the movie The Holiday, right? If this you take the same exact movie with the same exact character and make it be, beach time, beach body, volleyball, whatever, rom com in the beach doesn't work. No one's like, yeah, that Jack Black's it's not a thing
does
anymore.
not work.
Yeah,
Totally.
you only want to cuddle only with the polar bear, have a scarf and a pumpkin spice latte when it's wintertime. Yeah,
I have a feeling Kay's gonna make me watch that movie in the next few weeks too.
guaranteed.
Yeah,
You should suggest it.
I can prepare
You should
myself for it.
preemptively suggest it.
Hey, babe, you know what? I thought it'd be great this year. Let's watch The Holiday and The Notebook.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what's interesting about the stats about dating and women punching up versus down too, is that there's a very small percentage of men that have had that have high numbers of sexual partners too. So that probably plays a role into that as well. The average man in North America slept with 6 partners. The average woman is actually more. I think the number's 13. I forget what it was, but it speaks to the fact that there's a bunch of guys having all the sex, and then there's guys having lots of more interactions, and it's those guys are able to punch up or punch across, but a lot of guys punch down. I see a lot of my friends who would punch down.
Yeah. There's I saw like a clip on a really fucking dumb misogynist podcast, but then I looked up the study and so there was some anecdotal data that was suggesting this, but when you poll...
Was it our podcast?
It was not our podcast. Yeah. No, but when you poll women and get a description of some physical characteristics, social characteristics, financial characteristics for like what their dream guy
Height.
Is.
Yeah.
Right? It is really interesting. The podcast is making the point that it's delusional. Because they're like, men is 6 foot or taller, but not taller than 6'5", physically fit, takes care of themselves, makes more than $100,000 a year, and also is like this or like that. And just the physical and financial characteristics, it's like less than 5% of the total or something total North American population. It's a tiny segment of people that fit that category. So we're looking for the wrong thing, I guess is the point.
Yeah, and punch maybe a little unrealistic expectations. Dudes are funny, hey? Dudes will just punch down. They're like, well, I can't get that. Oh, that'd be nice to have a girl who's got a crazy body and super intelligent and funny and likes sports and but I'm still gonna bang this fat chick over here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it must
absolutely.
be like a biology thing driving that, where women were looking for more of
spread your seed.
Women want to make sure that if they were to get impregnated, it's a good fit, versus men are just trying to spread the seed. Yeah.
I got buddies now that are single, and how sort of picky they are is fascinating to me. They're much more picky than I thought they would be. And they can be. It's something that's culturally shifted, and they're not, well, whatever. They have options. So that's fascinating. But I think we're spinning into relationships a bit here, but this relates to the single people thing in the holidays. I think it highlights this. I am more attracted to my wife than anybody else. Full stop. And it's because the attraction isn't only physical, obviously. There's other elements to it. There's probably a pheromone element as well, because we have kids together and everything else. I'm sure that meshes it up. But part of that attraction that grows, as opposed to a purely just physical, visual attraction, because that certainly has to be there, is I think that for a lot of men, at least for me, women represent something else other than just the physical attraction. So in fact, some of the women that purely just physically look really attractive, in my mind, don't check the box of these other attractive elements. The super mothering, nurturing elements of things, the safe space elements of things, their physical outward appearance doesn't project that.
Yeah, the nurturing side.
Right. And so I think that's also why men punch across or are willing to punch down, because there is this other element that's not as vocalized. It is talked about a little bit, but it's not as vocalized.
Yeah, and guys suck guys suck across the board at taking care of themselves and giving themselves what they need and nurturing themselves. So like that's a big part of the reason why I always wanted to have women around, was like, and for many years it seemed like I always had to have a woman around. It's because otherwise I wasn't doing those things for myself, you know? Yeah. So the nurturing aspect, I could see how that would get really triggered around the holidays too. Just the nostalgia of having that from your family and kind of wanting that motherly coddling and cuddling and, you know, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Side
Side note.
Okay. Yeah.
Are
we already on a side note?
I think we're way fucking down the rabbit hole. Dude, as soon as Jenna was pregnant, like I knew that I was attracted to pregnant women, but then as soon as she was pregnant, from that moment on, I'm like, pregnant ladies are so fucking hot. Like, I'm just like, like, even to this day, I see a pregnant one, and Jen is like, "Don't you fucking look at that lady!" Like she knows right away. I'm gonna be like, "Oh, look at that belly. She's so hot. She's, you fucking weirdo."
That's really interesting, man. Because I don't have that mostly, but every once in a while, there's a pregnant woman where I feel myself going crazy over her. There was one, and we were just down in El Salvador, and there's this woman in line at the pupusa place, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I don't know what's going on with me right now, but damn. Yeah, so that's the thing.
I know that is your baby alarm. Your baby alarm starting. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I had
a baby alarm. Yeah, I had a baby alarm. Yeah, really? Women talk about it all the time. The baby alarm going off. Oh, it's time for me to have a baby. Like this desire that happens. I absolutely fucking experienced that.
Really?
Yeah.
I've not experienced that lately. I have the surf alarm going off for decades. That's what I have.
Close cousins of each other.
But I feel it building, so maybe it'll go. Maybe I'm close to that alarm going off. You know.
Holidays,
baby.
Oh my
god.
God.
I'm holding on. I've only got a couple left. We're getting older. That's funny, dude. Well, yeah. I mean, the single. I don't know. The single holiday thing is real. So if you're out there, just do whatever you got to do to get through it. How can people manage the holidays, Josh? How you know, we talked about having a plan. We talked about expectations of, you know, people, situations we're going to find ourselves in. I don't know, you know, how to manage the pressure, the weird family communications, the feeling of missing out if you don't have family or a partner. Yeah. What do you do about it?
Yep. Here's the thought experiment that I put myself through for things like this. If it in itself might be helpful for someone, right? What does future you say to you now? Or like, what does objective reality, high spiritual Josh say to just Josh on the ground? Like if you're just talking to yourself externally, what would I say? I would say, calm the fuck down, dude. Like
a week.
Just a week. It's no big deal. Chill out.
Yeah.
Chill out, and then what do you want? You want to hang with family and eat and drink and be merry? Do that. You don't want to do that because people are spazzy, like, and then don't, like, be by yourself. You want to work? Work.
Yeah, just another week, just another couple of days.
It's okay. Mm-hmm. You know? I think, and then by extension, it's the be in the moment element. This time of year for me, and it's something I've personally struggled with even now, is really a be in the moment sort of time of year where if I'm thinking about if I'm doing all the planning for like what are we gonna do and what presents I'm gonna get for the kids and how am I gonna cook, and I'm thinking ahead all the time, and then I'm just like, okay, now I have to do all these jobs and get them done, and then okay, now the holidays are done, and what are we doing for New Year's, and we got this flight, and then the business. I'm always looking forward for the next thing to check the box. Then at no point am I just sitting down fucking enjoying the turkey that I just made, you know?
Totally. Yeah.
So that's the reminder, I think. Is
whatever
your scenario
is, be there. Yeah.
Yeah, choose it and then just sit in it in the positive way.
Yeah. That's really good advice. Yeah. I think my parting advice would be you can do whatever you want. You know, a lot of people feel guilty about choosing to not go see their families. Honestly, I've had a couple Christmases away from my family partly because I was living in other parts of the world, but also because there's a lot of conflict at home. Those are some of the best holiday seasons I've ever had. You know, it's okay. A lot of people aren't close to their families. A lot of people don't see their families around the holidays. It's fine. Don't feel like you have to. Don't feel guilt tripped or burdened into doing it. But also, you can go and fully engage and enjoy it. You know, or you can go halfway, kind of partake and take what you can get from it and sidestep the rest of it and maybe not partake in some of it. That's kind of my approach. And then ultimately, again, just what you said, Josh, I'll double down on that. Just remember, it's a day, it's a week. It's important, but it's not. If it's not important, that's okay. There's a bit of financial pressure that'll pass. There's a bit of weird conversations. Those are fine. You know, you've had them before. You'll have them again. It's usually a bigger deal than you're making out to be. Just take some quiet time, step away from your life, decide what you want from this holiday season, and then make it happen. And have a plan for if it goes away that you don't want to go, based on those most likely scenarios from your past experiences. That's it.
I think what you just said is a good reminder, Sean, like when you said like the bigger deal of it. So much of our experience of reality is not objective. Most of it, all of it, debatably, whatever, right? So the narrative in your head is not the same thing as what's objectively happening. So yeah, just be aware of that. Like, what's the story you're telling yourself versus what's actually taking place? Is it stressful for you right now? Or is it just like, yeah, you got some shit to do and then chill out and watch the game and eat some food?
Yeah, and then you're back to your regular scheduled programming. It's funny because I find that without a plan going into it, it can get worse than I thought it would, and the catastrophization can come true. But if I prepare for it, then usually the concerns or social anxiety or pressure or financial stress that I have is never as bad as I think it's going to be. So I just go and enjoy it, try to enjoy the best of it, and yeah.
I got one more piece of advice that's coming to mind as you're saying that.
Great.
This relates outside of this, but this is again like perfect testing ground for it. Have you ever heard of the red car theory?
I think I know where you're going with it, but I'd love to hear it.
Right. The red car theory is if you, we're driving to this podcast today. How many red cars did you see? I know you didn't drive anywhere, but whatever. How many red cars did you see? You're like, I don't know. None, maybe one. But if I said to you, hey, on your way to work today or on your way to the podcast, Sean, for every red car that you take a photo of on your phone, I'll give you $50. How many red cars do you think you're going to see? I guarantee it's going to be more than 0 and 1. Because you're actively looking for it. Or if like as soon as you buy a red car, then you notice a bunch of red cars in town. The red car theory states whatever you're looking for presents itself. So I think the holidays, if you're looking for the letdown versus your expectations, if you're looking for the problems, if you're looking for the stress, guess what you're going to find?
That's it.
If you're looking for the connection, the relaxation, the family connection, even if it's just in the way that it can be, guess what you're going to find?
Yeah, what you focus on expands, right? And that's a separate point than having a plan. Like, I think part of the plan actually is so that you can then not catastrophize. It's like you have a plan based on some fairly likely negative scenarios and how you'll manage those if they come up. And then you can let go of that and just focus on what you want. And then when the bad things pop up, you're ready. Yeah, that's really wise. I love that. Well, hopefully you guys out there listening have a great holiday. Hopefully if you don't, that's okay too. And looking forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments below. How did your holidays go? Was this helpful? Love to hear about your plan. Maybe some stuff some specifics of that plan, boundaries you might be prepared to set, ways to not engage with drama if it comes up. And we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.